Today I want to show you quickly how to make a stuffed pizza. So we'll start out making the dough. We'll take 3 cups of flour, add it to the mixing bowl with a tablespoon of sugar and 3/4 of a tablespoon of yeast. We're going to mix those together real quickly just so that the water doesn't go directly on top of any of them. Now we're going to add 1 1/4 cups of water and 1/4 cup of oil. You don't need to heat it up. It just means that your rise time will be a little longer. If you want to heat it, then it'll keep your rise time under an hour. So I usually don't heat it, I let it go. So now once it comes together, you're going to stop and you're going to put a little plastic wrap over it for 15 minutes. Once that time's over, go ahead and add your salt. This gave a little time for the gluten to form without the salt interfering. And now you'll just knead it until it's smooth. So that kneading takes probably around 8 minutes and it'll get a nice smooth ball like that. Now I go ahead and close the top off on my mixer with a piece of plastic wrap and let it rise. You can see down there in the corner it's risen to more than double. Now I'm going to put it out and I'm going to cut it into basically a third. I'll take a third off and the 2/3 I'll use for the bottom. So the 1/3 there gets cut off. Roll out the bottom. It's going to be somewhere between 14 and 16 inches. And you take your pan. I'm using a frying pan because I don't have a really deep dish 12-inch pan that I like other than this frying pan. Add oil to it and then you're going to put your crust down in the bottom. Just kind of press it up on the sides. It'll hang there if you press a little bit and get the size right. Now the leftover dough, I'm going to take that and I'll roll that out for the top. So that, since it's a 12-inch pan, just gets rolled out to 12 inches. So once it's rolled out, and I'll go ahead and let it sit there for a minute while I make the filling. My daughter didn't like spinach, so today I'm doing it with zucchini. You can do it with spinach. The basic idea is the same. With spinach I don't usually add onions, but the zucchini needs a little more flavor, so go ahead and mince some onions up and saute them. And then while they're sauteing, I go ahead and grate about 3 zucchinis to throw in there. Look at those professional chef skills. So, you know, once your onion's starting to get translucent, you can go ahead and add the zucchini. And then your goal here with the zucchini or with the spinach is to drive off the water. You don't want to have a little water in your stuffing, and so you're going to cook it until the water's pretty much gone, and then you're going to add garlic to it. So I like to add a lot to flavor that inside. 5 to 6 cloves of garlic is great. Little salt and pepper is good too. Once it's in there, you're just going to pull it off the stove and let it cool for a couple of minutes, and then go ahead and add your cheese. Typically you'll add mozzarella. I'm adding cheddar and Monterey Jack since I was short on mozzarella, and then take your stuffing and fill up the pie that you had sitting there rising. Once you get it in there, you're going to go ahead and put the top on, and your oven temperature should be 475. So we'll take this top, we'll seal it around the edges, so pinch it, and it'll seal pretty easily. You want to be kind of gentle because you don't want to knock down any of the rising that it's had. Now we're going to cut a little hole in the middle to let any steam out from that stuffing while we go. And we're going to put some olive oil on the top. This is going to essentially make it so that when you put your topping on, it'll be okay. So now it's into the 475 oven, and in the meantime I'm going to make the topping. So we have 28 ounces of tomatoes, and I drained most of the juice off of them, and that's about a 1/4 cup of basil. You know, luckily it's a good time of year, we have it in the garden. And then add salt and pepper to taste. About the time you're done, you'll be ready to pull it out of the oven. It's been in there for about 16 minutes, and now I'm putting the topping on, and it'll go back into the oven again at 475 for another 14 minutes, and you'll have this beautiful pizza pie. Enjoy.